This is very dangerous, especially for someone like Larry Wheels. Coach Greg, in today's video, Larry Wheels is hospitalized with a life-threatening condition known as rhabdomyolysis. Today's video, I'm going to explain how he may have got it, what are the causes, signs, symptoms, and so on, explain what can you do not to get this, and answer the question, is it because of steroids? And so Larry posted a photo of him on Instagram, hospitalized, with the caption, "I cookbooked around and got rhabdo. Lightheaded AF." And so he's looking a little swollen. He's in the hospital. I don't see any IV bags on him whatsoever. And so what exactly is rhabdo? And of course you could ChatGPT it, but here's the dumbed down simple version so you all understand. Rhabdo is the result of the muscle tissue leaking out into the bloodstream. It can be caused by several different things, including exercising way too hard, going much harder than last time, or could be caused from drug use. And these toxins that go into the blood, it has to go through the kidneys to be excreted. And so essentially you train so hard that you cause some of your muscles to die. They leak out into the bloodstream, these toxins. And unfortunately, this can overwork the kidneys. Now remember, Larry Wheels has abused performance-enhancing drugs, namely steroids, and that also can cause damage to the kidneys. And so Larry, being very muscular and having abused steroids, is far more likely to suffer from rhabdo. And remember, rhabdo is actually very rare. And so rhabdo can be very life-threatening and do long-term damage to your kidneys and or muscles. I actually met a guy one time, he had rhabdo in his calf muscles. They had to remove the majority of it. He had compartment syndrome. The muscles literally get strangled and cannot get the oxygen it needs and dies. And what are some common symptoms of rhabdo? Well, extreme pain and extreme muscle soreness. Also, you go to the bathroom, you hardly pee, and you're peeing brown reddish fluid. And rhabdo, it's actually more common in endurance sports. Just consider the repetitive nature of the sport. For example, running marathons. And so it's a wonder how David Goggins has never had rhabdomyolysis. Guys who are in the Navy SEALs or people doing ridiculous challenges, you know, like Rich Piana's 8-hour arm workout.
A lot of people have probably heard of this, but it's basically an 8-hour arm workout.
Those people very susceptible to getting rhabdomyolysis. Dalen Bailey did a video on her 4 years ago. She had rhabdo, was doing 100 and some crazy sit-ups in a CrossFit type competition and ended up with rhabdomyolysis. And remember, having more muscle, being on steroids, abusing any type of drug, whether it's recreational and or steroids, makes this far more likely to occur. Great to see that Larry Wheels had made it into the hospital, because if you don't, this could quite literally end your life. It is, in fact, this serious. And so one of the ways to treat this is to increase the fluids into your body, hence an IV fluid bag. But notice in the photo, Larry is not hooked up to any IV bag whatsoever. That would be a very common way to help speed up the recovery, because you have to flush out these toxins. But if you're not peeing, they can't continue to give you water. Now, if Larry's kidneys are in poor shape and they give him extra fluids and he's unable to pee them out, this could result in hypervolemia, too much fluid in your body. Also, if he has too much potassium, hyperkalemia, this could result in very dangerous situation in the body. He could in fact suffer from arrhythmias, perhaps possibly have a cardio event, and so this is very dangerous, especially for someone like Larry Wheels. You're thinking, oh, but he's so fit, he's so in shape, he has so much muscle, he's so strong. That is what makes it worse. Think of it. If you're exercising harder than last time and you're on steroids and you can lift more than anyone, that's going to cause even more strain on the body. Perhaps if he was a lot weaker, he was 100% natural, lifting lighter weights, this would never have happened. Now, I don't know how healthy Larry Wheels' kidneys were prior to this. Remember, he abused steroids for 10 years. We don't know. Was he perhaps already suffering from some kidney damage? Was that the reason he went on HRT? Remember, he's trying to get ready for a classic physique bodybuilding competition. He dreams of being an IFBB pro. And so perhaps he'd upped his doses. Perhaps he was taking more supplements than last time. But of course, we're praying that he comes out of this 100%. But it may in fact cause some form of kidney damage. And so after this, if he's suffering from some kidney damage, it would help immensely if he were to downsize. All these extra muscles, they're not actually healthy. Having more muscle, more strength, it's healthy up to a point. But when you go beyond that level and that muscle is achieved unnaturally, it does in fact place an extra strain on the body, the heart, the kidneys, everything. Now, we don't know exactly how he got this as of yet. At least I don't. He said he got it from cookbooking around. I don't know if that means he was partying harder than last time, or if he was perhaps doing some crazy workout. I don't know, trying to do Rich Piana's 8-hour workout. Or was he trying to be the next David Goggins? Perhaps he said, I'm going to burn off 10,000 calories in a day. Doing exercises like that when you're not adapted to it, or for example, if you at home say, oh, it's New Year's Day, I'm going to start my New Year's resolution. I'm going to train 4 hours a day. I'm going to get shredded in 3 months. Well, doing that is extremely dangerous. You are supposed to start your exercise very easily, going slow. It's not good to feel like you got ran over by a truck. That could also be a cause of rhabdomyolysis. Your muscles get damaged, release toxins into the blood. Your kidneys have to filter this out. And bammo, you got rhabdo and you're in the hospital. And so seeing as Larry Wheels is in the hospital without an IV bag, we have to assume he's hypervolemic. And so he may in fact be there for several days. And how long before he gets back into training? Before he feels 100%? Several weeks and or months. And so perhaps they'll put him on dialysis to filter out the blood, get all the toxins out. Or if he starts peeing at an acceptable rate, they can then have more IV fluids administered to him. Obviously, the doctors know what they're doing, and the fact that he is in fact in hospital, that he didn't wait, this is a very good sign and hopefully has a positive outcome in the near future. How do you know for sure if you have rhabdomyolysis? Well, with simple blood work, you would check for creatine kinase levels in the blood. That is a measure of muscle damage. And many of you getting blood work may have noticed this. Creatine kinase, and very often it's elevated in bodybuilders, powerlifters, Olympic athletes, those who train harder than last time. Whenever I get my blood work taken, my CK levels, creatine kinase, they're never within the reference range. In Canada, it's usually around 30 to 300 or so. I've had at my lowest just under 400, barely over the top. But normally when I go, it's 1,000 or even 2,000. And why is that? Because I'm always training very hard. And when you train hard, you're obviously damaging the muscle. So creatine kinase goes into the blood. And so when you get blood work done, the doctors can see this. But remember, listen to your doctor. Creatine kinase levels, if it's elevated, doesn't mean you have rhabdo. It has to be above a certain threshold, and the doctors will determine this upon your visit. And so please listen to your doctor, and I am not a doctor. And so how can you avoid this happening to you? Well, the first thing is don't exercise like David Goggins on your first day of training. Go easy and slowly progressive overload. Next, stay hydrated and don't exercise in very hot environments. Notice how I go to the gym and I bring my own fans. Does anyone notice that? Trying to stay cool. Much healthier, you can perform at a higher intensity. Those wearing garbage bags, sauna suits to get the better sweat, why are you doing that? You're just sweating out water. And next, you have to be careful with alcohol and or drugs. Imagine partying harder than last time all night in 40-degree heat. It's probably not a smart idea. And of course, there are certain medications and or genetic predispositions. And so please go and check with your doctor. It's okay to push harder than last time, but you can't go to a ridiculously high level without progressively overloading towards that. If you would start out an exercise program and you say, I need to lose 100 pounds, and you go on a show like The Biggest Loser, where they try to lose half their body weight in a matter of months, they're exercising perhaps 6 hours a day without hardly eating anything, that is a recipe for disaster. And even if you do lose the weight, you're gonna lose a ton of muscle, and once the diet's over, you're probably gonna regain all the weight and then a little bit more. And so remember, if you want to know how to exercise, not let this happen to you, please check out my free, that's right, it's free diet and training program. It's on my website. Click the link in the description, enter your first and last name and email address. It's coming straight to you, absolutely no cost to you. I want people to know how to exercise the right way so that nobody gets hurt. Interested in any of my supplements, for example, G-Test, ActiBuilder, GO2 Max, the protein bars, creatine, beta-alanine, we got stuff for sleep, stuff before to go to the gym, intro, we got it all. Head over to my website and don't forget to enter code Greg. It's 10% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to help boost the algo. Don't forget to watch one of the bloops, and for training books, cookbooks, coaching plans by me and my team, that Circle Diet book, and of course, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. Did you know we had a clothing line? Please click the link in the description, code Greg 10% off, and until next time, I am out.